I don't know, I haven't needed to charge the batteries in a long time. Every time it gets low, I recharge it. So.
Oh, is it simple?
No, I don't. Wait, the one with paint on his pants. He says,
Oh.
is it? No. Actually, kind of simple. Yeah, I found it in the thrift store.
That's crazy, yeah, that's good. This is like people love it.
Check 1, 2. All right.
Wow, you're so well behaved. Everybody's quiet.
That should be good.
Yes.
Pretty high.
All right, this is working. There's an echo somewhere. Is that from you? Do you want to mute it or lower the voice? Lower this one. All right. Good night, everybody. It's so nice to see so many of you tonight. Some of you that I know, some that I don't, some that I have to discover. So this is our first event for Bendicoot. And we have been on this journey for a while now, and we're so excited to announce the course, the launch today with all of you, who just like us have a big passion to bring things to rural areas, beauty and opportunity. So before my man comes to speak to you, I just wanted to point out the way that I was raised in Europe and in the civic classes. I learned two things. The first thing was that my freedom stops where yours starts, and it taught me about respect and how to create a happy environment for yourself while caring for the ones that are right next to you. And the second one was volunteering and what it means for communities across the land, not only in rural America, but that community is really the essence of the soul of a community. Without volunteering, you can't get that pulse. Everything just becomes automatic. So with that sense of community today and of service to the people around us, I would love to introduce my man, Michael Amaturo, to tell you more about Bendicoot starting tonight's Bite.
Hey everyone, thank you. It's so wonderful to see so many familiar faces and new faces tonight at Bite, and so thank you to Ugel for making this venue so wonderful for us. And I want to thank all of you for spending your time to join us in not just the launch of Bendicoot, but in really our first effort toward the rural renaissance. The opportunity to change what we have and improve on it, preserve it, and just be part of it. So thank you for joining us. So tonight marks the beginning of Bendicoot's role as a supporter of remote work. And many of you know that the course is for remote workers, non-technical workers in the tech industry, like sales, marketing, customer success, customer support. But tonight is also the culmination of 10 months of reflection, conversation, and raw work. So I want to thank some of our early supporters, Salem Town Supervisor Sue Clary, Washington County Director of Economic Development Laura Oswald, who's here tonight, Sue was here earlier, and Director of the Warren County Department of Workforce Development, Liza Oxendorf. So your generous guidance continues to take Nishana and I on this wonderful journey to strengthen the roots of our wonderful rural communities. Now, our roots in Washington County are just 2.5 years old, but ours is a case of love at first sight. When we first set eyes on our home in Shushan, located just up the street from USHAS. Having roots is a funny thing. Whether you're in your community or in your family history, your roots can meander, they can be out of sight, they can even be forgotten. But the journey that our souls, that our families took to get us here leaves an indelible mark on our very being. And Shushan in Washington County has already left an indelible mark on my being. So much so that after moving here, many of you might not know this, without knowing particularly why, I wanted to reconnect with my Italian heritage on my father's side, a family of immigrants, like all of us, who settled in the Bronx for a better life. I traced my lineage back across the Atlantic to a small town called Gioia del Colle, about 30 modern-day minutes from the coast and from Bari in Italy. I discovered that my great-grandfather, soon after marriage in his early 20s, departed with his wife and their first child for Ellis Island in April of 1913. Upon arrival, he Americanized his first name from Mark Antonio to Mark Anthony, and he shortened his last name from Amaturo to simply Maturo. He changed that last name away from the active Latin verb to ripen, or to bring to maturity, and I think that was an unfortunate mistake. So I'm in the process of changing my last name back to Amaturo to honor the journey of my great-grandfather's past. What I didn't realize when I first started this research project into my family's past was that the town he came from, Gioia del Colle, had an agricultural and dairy community. It's famous for its mozzarella and its wine, and that my family had been a part of this agricultural community for 200 years before he left. So without knowing it, my soul also calls for the countryside as much as Nushana's did when we were first looking for our home. Now, my great-grandfather, like many people, left the comfort and the history of his hometown for the economic opportunities elsewhere. And in his dying days, he was known to be an unhappy man, and I wonder how much of it was because he left the countryside in the pursuit of success. Nushana and I love living in rural America. We love the deep reverence for the natural world, the knowledge and our connection to the animals and the plants. We love the kind and strong and resourceful people, all of you, who contribute to our rural way of life, who've invited us into our homes for dinner, and who've made our first 2.5 years here so rewarding. Both of us have always found ways to give back to our communities wherever we lived. Nushana in France and New York City, me in Rockland County where I grew up, but also Brooklyn and San Francisco where I lived. And moving here was no different. We wondered how we could give back and, more importantly, how we can pass on this way of living to our future kids and grandkids. So as many of you know all too well, there's a crisis in rural areas across America. Rural populations are stagnating or even declining, like our own Washington County, which has lost 3,000 people in the past 10 years, 5%. Young people are leaving to pursue opportunities in urban centers, while people who stay are aging out of the workforce. Economic activity, while promising, still shows total employer establishments decreasing 1% in 5 years, and unemployment increasing 2.5% in those same 5 years. These statistics worried us, and we know what happens when tax dollars depart, when public facilities and institutions get neglected, and when communities seem to fray. But I have faith. Just 2 years ago, at the quiet behest of now Salem School Board member Tom Clary, the Post-Star wrote an article about the people returning to their roots in small towns after the pandemic, and it also wrote about people like Nushana and I, who are coming from other places to live the country life. Greta Hochsprung, the author, titled the article, "Seeking a Rural Renaissance, Some Say Goodbye to City Life." And I think some of you even in the room did the same. The Rural Renaissance is one of those clubs that you may not know you're already a member of. It's indeed happening all around us. Cambridge, Greenwich, Salem, and here in Hoosick Falls are showing new life, new stores, new people. And as a result of the prevalence of remote work, my life is made possible here as a remote worker in the technology industry. It's because of my time flexibility I'm able to serve on 2 nonprofit boards and contribute in other ways. While Nushana, an artist, serves as the Salem Chamber of Commerce president, she beautifies, as you know, beautifies and infuses soul in places where sometimes things are on autopilot all around her. Remote work makes new opportunities possible. It brings flexibility to our workforce. It enables innovative companies to hire from anywhere, including rural places. And it brings economic opportunity to the remote worker and his community. So Bendicoot is here as our small first contribution to the rural renaissance to help bring remote work to those in our rural communities who wish to earn a lucrative living while staying put and contributing to this way of life. Bendicoot helps people decide what non-technical remote role they want in the tech industry, and then how to earn and thrive in that position, mastering not only remote work, but mastering their lives as well. I know that remote work is not for everyone, which is why this is just the beginning of our effort, but people in rural communities deserve the same opportunities that urban dwellers enjoy. None of this activity is about urbanization. Quite the contrary. Bendicoot and the way we see the rural renaissance is about preserving our way of life, enhancing our experience in the countryside while honoring our traditions and our past. If the 20th century was about industrialization, the 21st century is about digitization. And so far, it's been mostly to the benefit of urban centers, leaving aside the countryside, which are the parts of America that fed and manufactured goods for so many bountiful years. Before COVID, although the internet was democratizing and gave every user access to untold amounts of information, and while social media was making it even easier to spread memes throughout the global population, geography still mattered for most people when it came to economic opportunity. You still had to commute to an office, and the offices centered around the urban hubs like New York, San Francisco, Austin, London, all well connected financially and to the internet. But the pandemic forced leaders and employees to rethink the way people work. It forced remote work from a fad to a lifestyle. And now, 1 out of every 5 workers in the US is working from home in some capacity. We're presented today with an opportunity to balance the scales once again toward rural communities through remote work. This untold opportunity for workers and entrepreneurs hinges entirely on internet access. And that's why it's vital that we as a community and we as elected officials treat internet access like the utility that it is. Every American deserves the ability to access and participate in the global economy. The recent headway made in Washington County is an excellent start, and our political leaders are finally making internet for all a reality, little by little. The rural renaissance we envision is a helix of money and culture that will inspire the return of respect to the once vital and vibrant hamlets and towns of rural America. Those that were beacons in the Industrial Revolution, but were left behind in the digital one. So our vision is one that starts here in New York and expands all across the Northeast and across America. We're building, for Bendicoot, our first class of students. We will monitor them closely and let each student bring their ideas, their insights, their questions, their requests into the online course. Now, each of you may already have imagined one person you know who would benefit from our course, and we invite you tonight to make that a reality. Here's the one ask. When you make a donation of $100 or more to our GoFundMe, which is on the QR code over there, you can gift the course to a student of your choice. It takes a village to bring Bendicoot's vision to life, and we're counting on you for your help. We want tonight to be the beginning of our partnership with each of you, not only in bringing remote work to our communities, but bringing the rural renaissance to life. So in that vein, mark your calendars for the next event, which is going to build upon this, in Salem on Wednesday, September 13th. So I can't thank you enough for your time and your attention this evening. This is our first splash into this kind of work. And I know that together, all of us, we're making great things happen, but more importantly, we're doing it for the future. So thank you, everyone. Thank you. The final note is that we put some questions up for you to discuss. After we show this video, this is our teaser video. After we show you the video, I'd like you to have some conversation with each other. So go ahead and play. Oh, there's no audio here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll come down. I'm also the technical support.
What if there are opportunities that you don't even know about yet? And what if those opportunities could change your life in all the ways? There's a world out there that most people don't know about that could give you the freedom to work from anywhere for companies that are building the future. All you need is your mind and your keyboard. Let me show you how. Most people think working in tech is only for computer wizards, but it's not. There are a multitude of problem-solving jobs that are awaiting fresh minds that will not only give you the freedom of working remotely, but give you the money to shape your life the way you want. After the pandemic, remote jobs are a part of our society and are much more accessible than ever before. This is your chance to be a part of it. To be a part of something bigger than you. I've been in the industry for 15 years, and the one thing I see is that we need new problem solvers that have an affinity for tech, the second fastest growing industry in America. Whether you want to stay close to your family working from home, or you don't have access to transportation, or just want to travel around the world while working, this is a great opportunity for you to choose your future. From my expertise over the years and our recent updates to multiple courses, including Harvard's, I prepared for you a course that will allow you to learn everything you need to pick the right position for you at the right tech company, and then develop the skills to thrive there. If this sounds interesting to you, sign up for our newsletter to learn how now. Bendicoot. Bend your life around the world.
Thank you so much, everyone. So I'll go to the microphone for the final comments. I mean, thank you so much for coming out to support us. Thank you for just being here for us. It's been 10 months, an amazing journey with all of you, with each of you. And I'd really like, now we're going to put up the questions again. Spend time reflecting on what I said about the rural renaissance, and spend time getting to know some of the people in this room who are from all walks of life, all around the county, all around the state. And thank you again for coming out.